black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these streets. Wake up the beast, everything day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', who day? Time to put your hands up. Bengal stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounds, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes be tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move crossing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange on bottle. Bingo bottle. Never stop it. To the beast and know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes? Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the back-to-back AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do me a favor, if you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 2,384 subscribers. As always, I couldn't do this without you guys, so I really, really do appreciate it. But if you're watching on Twitter X or Facebook and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, but you say, Strawberry, I don't have a YouTube channel. It's real simple. Go to YouTube, subscribe. It's free. And then go find my channel and subscribe to that. Hit the bell for the notification. So every time I go live, you'll be notified. I'd appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from this glorious place down there. It's the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And you know it, we got the greatest quarterback in the league. His name is Joe Burrow. We call him Jackpot. If you want any of the gear, the hats, the flags, I don't have a jersey, but the shirts on, go to jackpotjoey9.com. If you want any of the beer, it's at Brink Brewery and at all major Krogers. Pretty much, it's everywhere. Go find it. Again, portions of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and the Joe Burrow Foundation. What is up to everybody in the chat? Strangers in the first. Brad's in there. Ross is in there. And Lindsay, what is going on? All right, I am dying to find out where this man is at because he is in the sun. He's got his shades on. Looks like he's sitting poolside. Maybe he's in Arizona. Let's find out where Muhammad is at. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, my dude?
Where are you at, man? Where you at? You out just outside enjoying this nice, wonderful Cincinnati weather?
Yeah, I'm not in Arizona. I would say I'd love to be there, but honestly, with how the Bengals were looking, I'd actually rather not be there right now. So Cincinnati's good for me, man.
Yeah, come on, Muhammad. They're going to win Sunday. Come on, you got to have positivity, man.
They pay you to say that, Jeff. They pay you.
So, since the last time you were on here, you actually have partnered up with my boy Malik Wright.
That is correct, yes. I'm still looking for full-time work, but I'm officially the NFL chief editor. I should say co-chief editor for TWSN with my man Malik. I've been on for almost 2 months now. It's been great. I'm actually working on putting together a great piece, which I'm sure I'm going to probably speak verbatim on this podcast anyway, about what on earth is really going on with Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow. But yes, it's been great. Been doing some other stuff on the NFL, but my focus has just been giving some commentary on the Bengals and where things stand right now. So it's been good, man. Shout out to Malik, one of the best guys out there putting me on like that. Y'all listen to his show as well, First Star Logistics on YouTube, the Sit Down with Malik Wright, and go to our website, twsn.org.
There you go. Yeah,
Or not
absolutely. Malik's
org,
been on.
TWSN.net, because we're not
.net,
government.
yeah. Yeah,
Dot
Malik's
net. Thank you.
yeah, too many letters. Yeah, Malik's been on here a couple times. My boy Evan McPhillips, who's on the sit down with me a lot, he's been on here a couple times. They're all a bunch of good dudes over there. So I always appreciate Malik and all the shout outs and him coming on my show. He's a good dude. Last time I saw him as last year, we were in the airport getting ready to go down to Tampa and watch the Bengals kick ass down there. So that was good.
I think I was there, right?
Were you there?
Were you on the Frontier flight?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you would have seen me there, whether you knew me or not. I was on that.
Oh, man, I didn't know you then. Well, damn, I could have met you in person then.
Well, I was so new on the beat. Nobody knew who I was at that point. So no offense there, man. None taken.
Well, we're definitely have to meet sometime in person and
We
hang
will.
out. But so all right, so let's get into this. Since you brought it up here, what's going on with Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow? What's your thoughts?
I'll be honest with you, man. I think what's going on is they're scared to tell Joe Burrow no. I think it's that simple. I mean, do you agree with that? Because, I mean, I think about it like this. You're playing at Tennessee. You're down 24. And, like, I was actually there, by the way.
Okay.
I was at that game with my friend Trent, who lives in Indiana. I drove down to Nashville, stayed with my cousin, and he met me. And I'm thinking, why on earth is Joe Burrow still in this game right now? He's already not looking good. Physically, mentally, could tell he had no confidence. And you trust this guy to play for the rest of the game when you know it's out of reach? I know there was one scene, I think, on the TV, and I saw it even from where I was sitting, where it looked like Jake Browning was about to go in, and Burrow's like, I'm good. Like, what is Zach Taylor scared of? Like, Joe Burrow having a hissy fit? Like, okay, he'll have a hissy fit after the game, blow some steam, but, I mean, Joe Burrow's a mature adult, right? Like, he knows that, okay, he's pulling me out of the game. I'm not looking good. I'm not feeling good. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, I don't know, man. It just seems like they're not standing up to him. Like, if I'm Zach Taylor, either he really, really is naive and thinks Joe Burrow's good enough to play out there, or he's just scared to tell the guy no, or I should say they just really don't trust Jake Browning, or even, I know they got A.J. McCarron, but right now, at least because he's new, they don't trust him either. So it's like, you kind of put yourself in a donut there, Zach. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know why he was playing in the fourth quarter. That was a conundrum for me. That didn't make any sense because Zach, and I don't necessarily think Zach's scared to tell him that he can't play because they pulled him out of the Browns game. So he didn't play in the Browns game when that thing was out of reach. So he's done it before. Why he played in the fourth quarter, I have absolutely no idea.
Way more out of reach, though. Like, I think even Burrow knew at that point, yeah, we're toast.
After they didn't get the fourth down. 24 points or 20. I mean, it was over in Tennessee. It was
3
over.
minutes left. Yeah, in this case, it was 12 minutes left.
Yeah, it was over. So, I mean, yeah. So I don't know if that's the case or not. I've been puzzled by that myself. But your point you just said of the reason why I think they keep playing Joe Burrow is because they don't trust Jake Browning. Now, people come at me and say, well, they should have done a better job of getting a better backup quarterback. I agree with that. But on the flip side of that, they tried. They thought Trevor Siemian was going to be that guy. And then Greer got there. He was only there for a week and a half. I think he was going to be the guy. And then he bolted. So now you got A.J. McCarron, who's not up to speed. So they're stuck. And right now.
To be honest, though, but can't you start pointing fingers at Duke Tobin at that point of why you thought Trevor Siemian was a decent backup when, I mean, I don't know.
I agree with this. I totally agree. They dropped the ball on that's how does Jake let's go call it up structure management or whatever or how you build your team or they
roster management.
Yeah, it's a complete. No, I can't say anything more than that. They did mess up on this, but right now, to the point they're at now, they have to win. If they don't win Sunday, it's over.
Season's over. Season's over.
So.
If they don't win Sunday, I mean, I'm going to pull the flag out and say the season's over.
Yeah,
like, wave the white flag. I don't care if they win the next 8. Like, you're still going to lose at least 3-4 more games. And at that point, a playoff game's out of reach, dude. Even a 7 seed's out of reach because, I mean, Cleveland looks decent. Baltimore's in first place. I mean, Buffalo, Miami.
I mean, either way we go right now, Muhammad, it's an uphill battle. It's going to be – I mean, they're going to have to win damn near all of them right now the way they are. And I'm always the guy with the optimism because if Joe is getting healthier, which it looks like he is, I mean, from all indications, now he's not going to be running around, be scrambling and stuff, I don't think, on Sunday. But as long as he can step up or step sideways and, move a little bit in that pocket, I think that bodes well for the future of how this team will go. But they basically got to win all of them right now, almost all of them, to the point they're at now.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the stats. I forget what the percentages are, but I'm pretty sure it's since they did the realignment in 2002 of the divisions, I think teams that start 1-4 are literally there's a 6% chance to make the playoffs. That might even be before the alignment, actually. So since the 02 alignment, when they changed up the divisions, I don't think anybody that's 1-4 has gotten in. Now you have the Detroit Lions who are 1-6. The Lions were 1-6, and they just had a really crazy run. I think they won 8 out of their next 10, and they just barely missed out because Seattle won in week 18. But other than last year's Detroit Lions, and again, that was a really weird team. That's another conversation. But outside of the Detroit Lions, I don't think a 1-4 Bengals team do it. Because let's be realistic here. Let's be pragmatic. I like to find a balance of hope and fear, as I tell people. Let's assume they do go 1-4. So I'm going to be honest with you, and we'll get to this in a second. I don't think they're winning that game. I really don't, and I'll explain that in a second.
What,
but
this Sunday?
This Sunday. I don't think they're going to win, which I'll explain. But to preface, going back to what I was saying, say you go 1-4, which I think will happen. You go 1-4, you're hosting Seattle next week. Whether Burrow plays or Jake Browning plays or A.J. McCarron plays, best case, and this isn't even a good best case, you go 2-4, you go to the bye week. Even then, do you really think Burrow's calf is going to heal by the bye week? How can he heal but still get his butt kicked every time he's out there? Every time he got hit against Tennessee by Jeffrey Simmons and Azeez O'Shaier and all these guys that were gobbling him, I don't see how Denver went 1-4, 19 and made the playoff. That's actually not true. Denver hasn't been in the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. So I would revisit that, Mr. Brad M., because that is incorrect. But to what I was saying, even if your best case 2-4, I don't think Burrow's calf is going to be healthy because unless they pull my two favorite letters right now, they pull the IR. They pull the IR on this guy, and he gets 4 weeks, just straight rest, as much conditioning as he needs. Unless they do that, and your best case scenario is 2-4, which is really not a best case situation. It's still pretty bad. So the bar is pretty low there. I don't see the season being saved because you have at worst a 1-5 team, at best a 2-4 team at the bye week. And then you got San Francisco, who literally looks like, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL right now. And they haven't even played a full complete game yet. Well, no, I guess that's Philly. I should say San Francisco has played a complete game. And they're only getting better. Brock Purdy, whether he's good or his weapons make him look good, he's looking good. That defense is probably the best in the NFL. You're asking for hell at that point. And then you host Buffalo Sunday night. People at Paycor are asking for hell. Listen, Jeff, I think this season is spiraling out of control. And I don't think you could have scripted this any worse if you're a Bengals fan. I'm not trying to pull the fire alarm and be all out negative, but this is pretty bad. This is some serious business.
So this is what I keep asking everybody. You're saying put him on IR and let him rest and let him get better. Well, they did that. I mean, he hurt the calf in January 27th. He didn't play for a whole week and a half. He made it through the first game.
July 27th?
July 27th. Yeah, what I said, January. Yeah, July 27th. Sorry. July 27th. He made it through the whole first game in the rain and didn't hurt his calf. Made it through almost damn near the whole second game and didn't hurt it. That's where I'm I hear what you're saying, but they did that and he still hurt it. So that's where I don't. And that's
then he needed more time. He shouldn't have played week one. And that goes back to Zach.
But he didn't hurt it week one, and he almost made it the whole game. The second game. See, listen to me a second. So this is what I think happened the second game. If you remember the drives in the second, he started moving and he started rolling out more. I think Joe got overconfident in his calf, and that's the problem where he forgot about, thought I was all good, and that's where he hurt it. And this is where I'm at now. I think he's more cautious.
Psychopath.
He's more cautious now than he wasn't cautious enough in the first two games. He's more cautious now. That's one of the reasons why he's not moving as much, is my opinion. But the thing is, like I said, everybody keeps saying, well, rest him. Well, they did that, and he still hurt it.
They didn't do it long enough.
But everybody, the doctors from everything I've read with the doctors, they said they don't know when it's going to be better. They can't even look at an MRI and tell you when it's going to be better. The only person that can tell you it's better is Joe. So,
And
yeah,
that's
resting
the problem.
Right.
That's the problem. That's your
but
problem
that's
right there.
that's a football player, dude. What? Tell me one NFL football player that's not going to say I'm not good. Tell me one.
Well, I mean, I can't read people's minds.
Right.
See,
well, that's the thing. Neither can the coaches, and they're going to go by what Joe says. So
and
that's where everybody's like,
is,
well, you got to be the
Joe
big
Burrow being honest. I don't think he's being honest. I
then that's on Joe. That's I mean
that is on Joe Burrow,
right.
and that's what I'm saying.
Just go T. Higgins. He's got a cracked rib. He wants to play. How bad is it? Only T can tell you. So that's where everybody's like, well, you got to be the big boy and do this. Well, if the player's telling you I'm good, then you're going to listen to him.
Price isn't always right, though, Jeff. I mean, look,
I'm not saying it's right, but that's everybody keeps throwing it on Zach, and but that's the case right here. I mean, you can't sit there like you said, you can't read his mind, huh?
Right now, it's on Zach. In the beginning, it wasn't. Like, yeah, the first 2 weeks, I agree, it was not on Zach. Like people saying fire Zach to the first 2 weeks, they're just off their rocker. With all due respect, right now, it's on Zach because you've seen how he's playing, you've seen how he's doing. At that point, forget what he's telling you. He's not being upfront with you. And I'm not trying to start something or make up stuff about Joe Burrow and accuse him of being a liar. I'm not saying that. I think he sees that Burrow is probably literally and figuratively putting too much weight on that calf. And I think Zach's got to step back and say, Joe, I know you're a hustler. I know you're a competitor. I know you literally have that dog in you. Like when you got sacked more than any quarterback 2 years ago and still went to the Super Bowl. No one is denying Joe Burrow's great. I'm not sitting here denying that. I actually think, to be honest, the fact that although he looks horrible, he's playing on that calf, it shows you he is a dog within a dog of a dog.
Right.
But sometimes you got to put that ego aside. I'm not saying Joe Burrow is literally a psychopath, but he's making psychopathic decisions. Like, there has to be a point where
he's a psychopath. We've said that
aside.
before. I said that he's a psychopath when it comes to football. He wants to play. So I agree. I agree with you on that. He's a dog.
He needs to step back and realize, and I'm not, again, no accusations here. I respect Joe. I covered him. He's a great guy, a great human being I personally got to know. At the same time, you got to think about the rest of your team. Like, Jamar Chase wasn't kidding when he said, I'm wide effing open all the time. Obviously, he wasn't saying it out of anger. He was saying it out of frustration. Fully justified. Even Zach Taylor praised him for that in like a meeting that they had that I think Jay Morrison tweeted about. The reality is those guys are open. T. Higgins is open. Tyler Boyd, I mean, so many catchable balls thrown his way that he just couldn't get because Burrow just overthrew him because he couldn't really get the ball off using his lower body and using his momentum. Guys wide open. Joe Mixon's playing great. Like, you can't say anything about Joe Mixon. That criticism's out the door. He's doing amazing right now for where he's at in his career. And what a bargain to bring him back. Offensive line, I know there's debate based on the whole PFF numbers. I don't read into that. I think they're doing great so far. Other than those ugly penalties against the Rams, I think Orlando Brown, Jonah Williams, generally everyone's doing pretty well in between. So that's not even an issue. And the defense, I'll get to that. I'm not going to give the defense a pass.
That's been the biggest problem for me is the defense, Muhammad.
They're not getting a pass for me. Lou's not getting a pass. Neither is that run defense. But reality is it a little bit unfair because Joe Burrow's the center of the team? Maybe it's a little bit unfair. Maybe if he wasn't the quarterback, maybe if he was any other position, we'd be a little bit more lenient. But the reality is you're the quarterback. You're the star of the show. It all goes through you. You're the face of the franchise. Joe, you got to be honest with yourself, man. Are you 90%? Are you 95%? Are you 96.9%? Or are you really 100%? That's what he's got to ask himself. And we're going to see this week. At this point, if you're Zach Taylor and he has a game remotely close to anything to what he had last week or against Cleveland, yeah, Baltimore was an interesting game. And then the Rams weren't a good team. But anything like Cleveland or Tennessee at that point, IR. Seattle, bye week. Survive against San Francisco and Buffalo, and then just hope you can save your season at that point.
So you don't take anything from what all the videos and even the beat writers have been saying, and Joe has said that he's feeling this is the best he's felt, and James Rapien has said this is the best he's looked at practice. You don't take anything from that it's better.
Practice is at full speed. But
that's all they got to go by. I mean, that's
all they got
to go by. So and one of the preface it this way is I thought about this. This just came to me when I was talking on the show yesterday. Is one thing people aren't taking into account. I know it's only one day, but it's 1 day of rest that he didn't get. When he played Monday night and he come back on Sunday, you have a short week. That could have been another reason why he was more timid or tight, however you want to put it, on Sunday. But either way, Sunday, the thing is, dude, nothing went good on Sunday. I mean, when the Titans Tajay Spears fumbles the ball and it bounces right back up to him, and he runs it for
first down.
Yeah, first down, and Tannehill looks like a freaking all-pro. He throws a pass that two of our guys swipe at. It goes right through him. I mean, Joe makes a pass. Their guy jumps out and reaches his hand out.
DeAndre
I mean,
Hopkins burns Cam Taylor-Britt.
Right. I mean, nothing went good. I mean, nobody played good. Nothing went the Bengals' way. I mean, it was just to me. If we weren't 1-4, we'd be like, all right, that's a game you just got to crumble up and throw away. But we're not 1-4, 1-3. We're not 1-4 yet.
We'll be 1-4, but yeah.
Yeah. But that's where I'm at. Is that I think the short week, and maybe the Bengals kind of overlooked Tennessee because they beat them 3 years in a row. They're like, we know the formula to beat them. We know how to do this. I don't know. That's just, and that all sounds like excuses, but anything you want to put up to try to somewhat explain what the hell happened last Sunday is going to sound like an excuse no matter what you say.
To go back to what you said about Joe Burrow said it's the best he's felt. And no, I'm not denying James Rapinoe by any stretch. Like, I mean, James is there. I'm not. And I'm sure he did look good in practice. I'm not saying James is wrong or anyone is wrong. But, you know, he said he looked good. He said he looked good himself, like last week before they played Tennessee. He looked like he played good in practice based on the clips I saw. And he said himself he felt good. Look at what happened. You got to realize Joe Burrow can say whatever he wants. But the lie detector test is really going to be how he plays on the field. So if he says he feels good and he looks like he feels good, okay. But if he says he feels good, but we see what happens against Arizona, who, like, I'm surprised, you know, Arizona's good as they are. That's another issue, or I guess another conversation. Then that means Joe is not passing the lie detector test. And again, obviously,
we're not going to know that. I'll put it to you this way. Look, to me, Joe's got to play Sunday because if he does it, it gives us the best chance to win. If he doesn't, we're got 100%, not 100, but a 0.0 chance of winning. People ask on the chat, you know, what about Jake Brown? Jake Brown's throwing 3 freaking passes in the NFL. That's it. And in practice, he looks okay. But to me, if your season's on the line and you played Joe already, you know, what's one more game going to do? You know, play him out, put him out there. Let's try to get this win and try to.
But I think that should be it. I think this should be like the final litmus test. I agree with you, but this should be the final litmus test.
I mean, if they lose,
that's it.
It's gonna be really. Yeah, I mean, and I'm the biggest freaking optimist there is. I mean, yes, technically, Brad threw it up here again, and I don't know if any of this is true or not, but he said the Colts started the season
that's
in
true.
2015.
That's true.
So, I mean.
And they won their first game in the playoffs too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I mean, yes, technically, and the thing I keep prefacing is last year, and people, we can't bring up last year. Well, that's the closest reference we have to this team is last year. They won 10 in a row. If Joe Burrow can get healthy and they can play like this team can play, they could rattle off 10 in a row. It could happen. Will it? I have no idea. But it's the caveat to, you know, all right, there is a glimmer of hope, and I'll ask you this question, and people. Somebody said on the chat here too, and I'm not for this, and I don't think this team would do it because the players would revolt. Is all right. Say we lose Sunday. Oh well, the Bengals. Fans like, oh, we should just tank. You really think these professional players want to freaking tank?
No.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
No,
I've had that couple.
That's
why in the hell
would
they
risky.
do that? Yeah, you're gonna lose the whole team. Lose all of them. They're like, F this. I don't want to play for you guys. You just want to tank.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You got to understand this too, Jeff. You got a lot of guys who are free agents where. You take that route, you can kiss those guys goodbye. Tyler Boyd, Cheeto Awuzie. I'm trying to think.
DJ Reader.
T. Higgins, that's a big one. Yeah. How could I forget
my boy
that?
DJ, he's up after this year.
DJ Reader.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to do that, you're going to burn those bridges with them. And you got to think about Tyler Boyd. I have a speculative theory on him, and it's purely speculative. And I want to emphasize that. I don't think he wants to stay.
Really?
I don't think he wants to stay. I don't think so. Because
why do you say that?
Did you see where whenever Joe Burrow got his deal and, you know, they asked him, what do you think about T. Higgins and, you know, him not getting a deal? Boyd said he got the short end of the stick. Hopefully they figure something out soon. And I think he said something similar. I wasn't there when he said this, obviously. I only covered them last year. But I think when Jesse Bates had his thing going on, who ironically has the same agent as Higgins, another issue, I think he snuck in some snarky comment. So I don't know. I'm not saying he hates being a Cincinnati. I'm not saying that, but I could see where it's like his contract is up. He knows he can make more money somewhere else. He probably sees that, like, he's not going to get another extension, not just because of the Burrow deal, but because he knows how the Bengals are when it comes to 30-plus-year-olds. He's going to be 30 next year. knowing that Higgins probably won't get his unless I'm wrong, like knowing Jamar's going to get his.
Well, they also drafted Yoshi Voss and Chuck Sizzle, too.
And I think Charlie Jones, Chuck Sizzle and Yoshi. Yoshi, I would say, is more of a Higgins thing, but Charlie Jones.
Charlie Jones is Tyler Boyd, yeah.
Yeah, I think for Chuck Sizzle, that was definitely the writing on the wall. And he acknowledged that. I was actually there when he talked about that. So I think he'd like to be in Cincinnati, but I think if a better opportunity came, he'd rather take that. And you know what? Who knows? Like, to go back to what you're saying about should they tank or not, obviously I'm saying they shouldn't. I know some comments are saying that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he already went through that in 2019. I'm not saying they did tank. I know people have been saying that. I'm not saying they did, but they were 0-11, and you got to remember, like, he was halfway through his career at that point, and he already dealt with Marvin's last couple of years, which were crazy, and then, Burrow getting hurt his rookie year. I mean, Tyler Boyd's seen a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I think at this point he's going to be like, I've been here for 8 years to go through this crap. Without writing off, obviously, the fact he got to go to the Super Bowl, like, that still means 6 out of his 8 seasons were losing seasons. And then, with Cheeto, him being hurt and stuff, and then coming back to this, DJ Reader knowing that other teams will throw boatloads of cash at him. Yeah, you tank, you lose that locker room. Right. Joe Burrow's not going to be Joe Cool anymore. Zach Taylor's going to be on the hot seat. Like, at that point, you're going from, like, riches to rags.
Right.
Usually it's all the way around, but, yeah.
I want to comment on your Tyler Boyd thing. And I'll put it to you this way. I think it's more of he sees the writing on the wall, and this is probably his last year of getting a chance to get that bag, to get his last big contract. And it's not going to be in Cincinnati no matter what, because there's only so much money to go around. I mean, they're already at the highest they've ever been to the ceiling for the salary cap. So if they sign T. Higgins, which I got another thought on that too. I'll get to that here in a second. But if they sign T. Higgins, they're definitely not signing TB. Right. And Tyler is, and I don't blame him. It's his last, I think, shot at getting money. Go get as much money as you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have your end of a career so short. So that's another reason. And it's not that I think he wants to get out of here. I think he's just trying to get as much money as he can before his career's over. Now, I thought with T. Higgins, and I've kind of come to this here. I kept hoping, that they would actually negotiate with his agent, David Mulligella, who they just can't negotiate with. I think Mulligella's whole thing is to get his players to free agency, however that is, because he's trying to get his, which makes sense for him. He's trying to get his players the most money he can, and the way to do that is to go out there free agency and get everybody to outbid him. That's not what I think Mulligella's whole thing is to no matter what the Bengals do, unless they throw a giant bag of cash and a whole bunch of guaranteed money, which we know the Bengals aren't going to do because I don't think they can.
They already gave it to Burrow. He already got all of that.
Yeah, they had to
Orlando Brown.
Right. So I don't think they had that kind of money to give him. That's where I'm at with T. And I don't know. But the thing is, they can tag him next year. Now, people say, well, do you tag him and do you trade him? I don't know if they do that or not. But I guarantee you this. I almost guarantee you that T is going to be tagged next year.
He will. Yeah. Tag and trade, I don't know. I just don't think the Bengals are known for doing that anyway. But no, tag, I think, is definitely what's going to happen. And because you mentioned David Mulligetta, who, like I mentioned a minute ago, was Jesse Bates' agent who got him paid down in Atlanta, rightfully so, I still think that you're going to see a Jesse Bates saga part 2. He's going to get the tag. He's not going to want to play on the tag unless he gets a deal. He's going to sit out until pretty much training camp. Like Jesse Bates did up until like last August.
It's going to be the same thing. Yeah.
It's going to be a repeat. And we say that because, and to be honest, Mulligetta is an interesting guy because his short-term strategy is good because, like, it got Deshaun Watson paid, $230 million guaranteed. It got Jesse Bates paid, $64 million guaranteed. I forget who else he represents, but I know he's got some other guys paid. But the problem is he's using some really hardball tactics that may haunt him down the road because I think eventually a lot of owners are going to say, we're not negotiating with you. Like, any player that you represent, they can go to hell with you. We're not going to represent them, or we're not going to deal with them. So he's making his money now, but I think long-term, I know it's a little bit off topic, but I think T. Higgins has got to be careful because, like, the Bengals really can't work with this guy. And, like, if they go through a Jesse Bates part 2, they might full out say anyone who's represented by David Mulligella got to go to some other team. We're not going to deal with you because, again, you got to consider, too, I don't know if he was the one that texted Kelsey Conway, supposedly, allegedly, because Kelsey Conway tweeted that before the season that they reportedly, according to a source, didn't make any progress with T. I don't know if that was David because obviously it's an anonymous source. But if it was
Right.
David, if that was David, that was her source. I mean, using the media to get what you want is not a good look. Now, obviously,
Right.
Kelsey's doing her job. This has nothing to do with her. She's a messenger. But to use her or use any other reporter, like, come on, dude. You're only hurting your case.
Well, and that, like you said, and that comes up to T too. He's also, T has got to know. It's obvious that he's not going to get the most money from the Bengals. I mean, that's obvious. So he has to know that. That's where you're saying where Zach Taylor needs to step up and tell Joe to sit down. This is sometimes where maybe T's got to, if he wants to stay here, which all indications are he wants to stay here because he even showed up to training camp OTAs, which he didn't have to do. He showed up to all that stuff. So that's a good sign that he wants to be here, wants to be a part of that. Well, if that's true, then you might need to say, dude, work something out. I want to stay here. Not where he cuts his legs out from under him, but we're talking millions of dollars here. I mean, and that's easy for me to say. I don't have millions of dollars, and he can become a free agent, and it can be life-changing, wealth for his family for generations. So it's easy for me to sit there and say that. But that's kind of where it depends on what T wants. Does he want to stay in here in Cincinnati and keep catching passes for Joe Burrow and make a lot of money, or does he want to make a shit ton of money and go somewhere else? Where who knows where he's going to be at. He doesn't know who's going to be throwing him the ball, which I also think, Mohamed, that's something that he has to take in consideration too, as far as being a wide receiver. Who's throwing you the ball? What's the offense like? How are you going to fit into that? That's one thing as far as wide receiver guys. Because I always put this out there. TJ Husmanzada had a great year, his last year here in Cincinnati, and then he took off and went to Seattle. And I can't tell you, it was before Russell Wilson. I can't tell you who the quarterback was, and he was out of the league in I don't know 2-3 years after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny you mentioned that God. Like, I was in elementary school when he left. That was like my guy, man. Hoosh, I miss that guy.
I love Hoosh.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is people were saying, "Oh, T. Higgins go to New England, go to whatever." But you want to go to New England and you want to have Mac freaking Jones throw you the ball. Really? I mean, people would get his money in New England. I think Belichick would pay that. No,
the ball tapper. That's the ball tapper, man. Matt Jones.
I mean, Bill Belichick would pay that guy a dime, but what's the point if you're playing with Mac freaking Jones? Who knows? Maybe this is his second to last year or his last year in New England because I don't think it's working out over there. But he wants a pile of money. Yeah, no, Mr. Greger makes a point, but. Or, people saying, oh, go to the Chicago Bears. Why? So you can – well, we'll see this.
Dude, Justin Fields looked awesome last night. What are you talking about?
He looks – no, not because of him, but because you want to play with Matt Eberflus and that poverty franchise of an organization that can't seem to put a team together because they can't even keep Chase Claypool for a full season. Yeah, I agree. That's a big deal, man. Now, listen, what if somehow the Jaguars are knocking? They're like, hey, Christian Kirk, his years are coming up.
You go back and catch passes with Trevor Lawrence.
Your former college teammate who you played in 2 national championship games with, Travis Etienne, your former teammate, played in played in the college championship game with him in 2019. Why not? And then, that's a good team. Jacksonville, I know they've been kind of off to a shaky start, but they're still on the come up. That's tough, man. T. Higgins will have a market out there. I know this hasn't really been his year, but you can't point the finger at him. I mean, it's all because of Joe Burrow's calf. T. Higgins is still him, and he will be him this offseason.
Now, I will say I think the contract is getting to T because, I've seen him drop passes that T doesn't drop. So I mean, they were Joe hit him right in the hand. So I mean, you're right, it is, but he has dropped passes that T doesn't drop. So and Jesse Bates said this 2 years ago that the contract did get into his head. Maybe it's hard not to, man. I mean, this is your freaking future. I mean, you want to get out there and you want to show out and show how good you are and make as much money as you can. So of course you're not human if that doesn't come into the back of your head somehow while you're playing or whatever.
Or you're just a sociopath. Yeah, either or.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, because I'll tell you that because I had Corey Dillon's been a regular on my show here on Mondays, and he'll talk about this with the money. No, Corey Dillon.
Oh, they said Cordell, Cordell.
No,
Wilson.
Corey. I talked too fast. Corey Dillon. But what Corey said is you don't understand the pressure of the contract that Joe got. He goes, because I didn't get Joe Burrow money, but I got paid pretty well. He goes, the pressure of that contract to play, perform, be the leader. He goes, that stuff's real. I was like, so we're all talking about the pressure or whatever of T trying to get the money. Joe's got the money, and then the pressure's on him. So I was like, it never stops. And that's something that you and I unfortunately, we'll never understand because we're not in that position. I wish
Can't
I
imagine.
great.
Yeah, man. I don't envy those guys. Like, people say, oh, you don't want to play in the NFL, the millions of dollars. And I'm like, risk my life, putting my body out there, and then, like, deal with the stress of not making, like, my future set. Like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'll live a simple, average life. I'm good. Like, I can't
then you got all the people on Twitter and everything telling you suck and all that stuff. I mean,
yeah, I mean, that's real too, dude. Like, I mean, social media is cancer, man. I don't go on X as much as I used to, or even my other social media apps. I use them very sparingly. Like, I can't imagine what those guys have to deal with, because you got to limit the comments. You got thousands of people commenting at you. Like, I get it, man.
Just got to put
Real.
earmuffs on and go forward.
Or if you're like Joe Broach, put the Bose headphones on and then get an advertising sponsorship for it.
Right, exactly. All right, so you've already made it known that you don't think the Bengals are going to win Sunday. All right, so let's put it this way.
Yeah.
If the Bengals are going to win Sunday, because you already know I think they're going to, what is the keys to the Bengals winning? Besides Joe Burrow going out and being jackpot and playing all, Joe Burrow, if he can, this is where I'll put this, I'll preface it this way. I think Joe's going to be able to step up into the pocket and step sideways enough to avoid pressure. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not saying he's going to be out there running around in circles, but if he can do that, I think that's an upgrade from what he did last Sunday. Anyway, what's your keys to the game if the Bengals were to win?
I think the first and biggest key, and I've really been thinking about this, and I've heard Dave Lapham and Dan Hort talk about this today on their pregame show that they do on Fridays.
Right.
You cannot make Josh Dobbs look like he hasn't played 7 years in the NFL. Like, that guy does not look like he's been a 7-year journeyman. He looks like a dude who, I know he's not literally a starter. I know he's not literally a bona fide player, but he sure looks like it. And if the Bengals make Josh Dobbs look like a midseason MVP, that's killer. So kind of
like they did to Tannehill last week. They made him look like a freaking all-pro. Oh, my God.
Do not let Josh Dobbs look a fraction of anything similar to what you saw from Ryan Tannehill last week. You got to really make sure that dude is as one-dimensional as possible. Like, in the same way Burrow's been one-dimensional, make Dobbs look like that. And then I think on the flip side, I know you mentioned Jackpot Joey and all that, which, obviously that doesn't need to be regurgitated. But to complement that, Jamar Chase said it himself, and I repeat and quote, I'm always effing open.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I don't care if it's a check down. I don't care if it's a 10-yard, slant route.
Give him the damn ball.
Give him the damn ball. He'll put those defenders in a blender. But that blender's not going to turn on unless you put some ice in there. Unless you put some ice in there, plug it in the electric plug. And you can't do that unless he has the ball in his hand. So give Jamar the damn ball. Let him turn that blender on and shred people into bits like he's done his very short but eventful career. And then last but not least, I mean, and again, I know I've been ripping into Zach Taylor, but I'll be a little bit fair with him and kind of rip him, but kind of give him some slack. Don't be vanilla. Like, I want to see some bold play calls. Like, I think at this point, teams have been cracking the code because they've seen how one-dimensional that offense is. Like, I don't know what that looks like. I'm not a coach. I'm not Brian Callahan. They're the ones that get paid to do that. But I want to see something that's not just short check down, hand off to Joe Mixon.
Play you want them to play and him to call plays like they have nothing to lose, which they literally have nothing to fucking lose. If they lose this game, it's over. So go out there, do whatever it is you have to do to win.
Do what you haven't done up to this point.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then at that point, if all else fails, then at least you could say you tried.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least you could say you tried. If you can't, then what are you going to do?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing too is and people said this a lot. I've said it too. Run the ball. Ride Mixon.
Yeah.
And
that's another point too. Yeah.
And one thing I will say this, and my boy Joe brought this up on yesterday's show, is Mixon is running the ball well. It's just, and I'm not. It's the offensive line and Mixon. It's not consistent. Yeah. And that's one thing they have, and that's been the problem the last couple of years. It hasn't been a consistent running game, and I thought this year it would be more consistent, which hopefully it will. That's the thing they have to do. He can get the 5-10 yard run, and we can't have back-to-back 1 yard gain, 2 yard loss. You got to have consistently going forward with the ball is what Mixon has to do, I think, this Sunday. And one thing Mike Daniels was on the Ace and Zim show, and I will say this, and I agree with what he says, is Joe's not 100%. Everybody on this team, from the coaching staff to the special teams guys, have got to step up, saying, all right, we can't put this all on Joe. Joe can't go in the phone booth and put the Superman cape on and make plays. We got to make plays for him. That's the other thing I think is key is everybody on that team needs to step up because Joe is not 100%.
Like you mentioned, Joe Burrow is the main problem. He's the biggest problem, but he's not the only problem. I mean, what's so, I think, mind-boggling, Jeff, is like for a team that had the highest expectations they've had in franchise history, not an understatement, that, has won back-to-back division titles, played in back-to-back AFC championship games, both of which were very competitive till the very end. For them to be better on paper, than they were with those last two rosters, and to be like this, you had a lot of problems. Like, I want to go back to that run defense. Like, Sam Hubbard last year showed that he was one of the most underrated run stoppers in the league. I don't know if I can say that today. I don't think I can with respect to Sam, who's a great guy. Like, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it from DJ Reader. I haven't seen it from, Zach Carter, man. I mean, I know he's only in his second year, but I had high hopes for him, and I haven't really seen much on film from him. And then I think the other question, if we want to just, not only talk about the run defense, just looking at the secondary, it makes you wonder, did they make a mistake letting both, and I say here with emphasis both, Jesse Bates and Von Bell leaving? Jesse was a goner, like we've talked about, but should you have tried to keep Von? Looking at it now, I think you should have.
It would have been nice.
What?
I said it would have been nice to keep Bell. That's for sure.
I mean, him and Dax Hill would have been a monster secondary because you see how good Dax Hill is. He's playing at a Pro Bowl level. I do think we should have given him some credit earlier because he's actually played great.
Yes.
Pass defense, like
I did a whole highlight video on him earlier this week of how good Dax has played, and like I said, I'll ask you this, and I've said this before the season started that I think eventually Battle is going to be starting there with him. Do you think that's happening? I think there's a better shot of that happening after the bye week. What do you think?
You're saying that Nick Scott loses his job?
Oh, well, I don't know about losing his job, but Battle's going to be in there more. And maybe lose his job because, I mean, Nick Scott, he's going to stop trying to blow everybody up. He needs to go wrap up and tackle people. That's where I think that's where is the part that's irritating with me with him is I've seen him just trying to nail people and destroy them, which is, that's cool, but you got to get them on the ground. They bounce off and they still run for another 2 or 3 yards. It doesn't do us any good. He needs to wrap up a little bit more. But I like Battle a lot. What's your thoughts on that?
That's true, and I think it's not that he's a bad player by doing that. It's just more so that I still think like that's how he was in Los Angeles when he played with Sean McVay and Raheem Morris. I think he still maybe I think that's how he would have played in that defense. I mean, I didn't watch a whole bunch of film last year on the Rams, but like when I see his highlights, his tackling's very similar, and it was good in that system. That's why he was a starter after being like a 7th-round pick.
Right.
But I just think that he's got to adjust more to the defense. And I know he had a whole training camp. I know he had a whole off season. And I think the potential is there, but he's got to say, hey, okay, I'm here now. I got to change things. Like you said, I don't think blowing people up is the way to do. Like, you got to just wrap guys up and get her done, man. Because
and him and Dax, the communication has got to get better. That's the biggest problem I think we're having is not only missing tackles, but the communication between Dax and Scott. That's the thing and I don't know how long. I never played safety. I have no idea how long that takes to get the communication down. But I do think that's another big issue that they're having with each other.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it took Jesse Bates and Von Bell time to develop that. You saw slivers of it in 2020 because they were both veterans at that point, and Bell. I mean, I think Bates was an All-Pro that year when the Bengals were literally 4-11-1. So interesting.
No, Bates wasn't All-Pro. I was pissed off. He should have been that year.
Bates was an All-Pro in 2020, which was impressive. The silver lining to a very just forgettable season that people already want to forget about. But they developed that communication, and you saw it at full strength the Super Bowl year and even their last year together on Bates' contract tag year. So they can get there. They can. And I think they will. Matter of fact, they can get there later this year. And I think that doesn't change the fact that we will see more Jordan Battle, and I want to see more Jordan Battle. Other than that late hit he had against Tennessee, he's played very good. For a few snaps he's played special teams, and then obviously going into the third down snaps he plays as an extra safety. I think that things will be okay in the secondary. That just takes time. I'm more worried about the run defense because you got guys who have proved they're good. You got veterans who are literally who have been lights out, and it's you're just not seeing that when it comes to that run defense right now, and that's what's perplexing. Like Trey Hendrickson, ironically, again, he's been doing really well in pass rush. Like he had a sack against Tennessee, had a monster game against the Rams. I mean, you're seeing this guy, and like it's like he's ironically a better run stopper than Sam Hubbard. So maybe that's good for him. But like, where's Hubbard at? Where's Zach Carter at? Where's DJ Reader at? Like, where's Josh Tupou at? Like, I'm gonna call him out too. He's a veteran.
Another one I got that. I love this dude, and I hate bringing this up, but I have to. Is Mike Hilton? I
forgot about him.
Yeah, Mike. If you're watching, I love you. All right, you're one of my favorite players. But since the AFC Championship game, he hasn't been the same. They picked on him. Kansas City picked on him, and he didn't make plays, and he's not making plays now, and he's not even getting to the quarterback on the blitz like he was. I don't know. I mean, he's getting closer to 30. I don't know if he's lost a step. And if he's lost a step with his size, it makes it that much harder. Do you think Davis starts getting some more playing time? Because I think Zach said he's one of the best, or Lou said it, one of the best slot corners that they've seen already. They said that about Davis.
You're talking about Jalen Davis?
Yeah, about Jalen Davis. Do you think I can see him getting? Now, I'm not saying tomorrow. I don't know, but
right
soon, I think he could get some more playing time eventually over Mike if Mike doesn't start figuring this out.
I think, yeah. I mean, you're close to the bye week. You got this game and then Seattle. And, yeah, I think at that point, the bye week is like a pretty good time. I think an appropriate time to think about that. Because, yeah, I mean, Jalen Davis, actually, he has played a few snaps. And he played a few snaps against the Rams. And I think I heard his name called once or twice by the announcers on ESPN. So it's possible. Will it happen? I don't know. I still think this guy has so much upside that I don't want to think that'll happen, but nothing with how bad they've been is out of the possibility at this point. So I don't think it's a crazy thought. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think it's a fair question to ask for sure.
Now, getting back to the run defense there, and I agree with that. I mean, the whole defense in general has not been good. I mean, that's one thing. No. Excuse me. When the Bengals have gotten off to these slow starts the last couple of years, the thing that has helped them and keep them in games till the offense get going has been the defense. That hasn't been there this year. DJ Reader said this, and Lou said this after the game, that they chalked up to a lot of missed tackles. But they've had a lot of missed tackles all year. And that was one of the things that drove me nuts when Lou and Arima took over.
Yeah.
We couldn't tackle at all. But the last 2 years, we've been a really good tackling team. So that's, to me, is something that can be fixed. I mean, you
very fixable.
I mean, so that's what gives me hope. I mean, I don't. Do you think it's any more than that of just not making tackles?
Well, I mean, honestly, the minute you mentioned that, I thought of Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson, but I thought of Jermaine Pratt first because, I mean, let's be real. It's been like every game this year, maybe except the Cleveland game. He had a good game, and then you kind of saw how suspect he was. Teams are picking on him. They are picking on him in coverage. Like, they are bullying him. And it's like, this is the same guy who literally was writing tweets and talking about wanting to play more on third down. And it's like, okay, I get it. Akeem Davis-Gaither didn't play last week, but doesn't matter. Like, you still wanted those third downs, whether they put Akeem in or not. Like, you wanted those third downs, Jermaine, and teams are like, okay, you have him on third down, we'll pick on him. And that's actually, I think it's been mostly on third downs where I'm just like, what is Jermaine doing?
Right.
Logan Wilson is an interesting case because he had that game against the Rams where it's like, yeah, that's why they extended the governor. But then you just look at him against Tennessee and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you look like you've never seen Derrick Henry before, and he's seen him twice. He stopped him both games, and it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's the thing with that. That's what just drove me nuts about the whole Tennessee game. It's like, I don't know. It almost felt like they thought they were going to come in there and do the same thing and roll over Tennessee. And Tennessee, and again, I'm not trying to keep referencing Corey Dillon on my show. Corey Dillon's on my show, but he said this. That these teams, the Bengals, can't sneak up on anybody anymore. The days of the Bengals, like, oh, Bengals are on, that's going to be an easy win, or, yada, yada, yada. Those are over. People have circled, double circled, like, all right, we're getting these guys. And Tennessee definitely did. We beat them 3 years in a row. They definitely wanted to get back at them. They wanted that game more than the Bengals did. And that's the thing where I'll go back to what Mike Daniels said is these guys got to step up. These guys got to want this. Yeah, and they got to understand that they're getting – the Bengals are people's Super Bowls. I mean, if Arizona could beat the Bengals, I mean, they could. They beat Dallas. Dallas is playing lights out. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. So Arizona's going to come and bring it. And this is their I won't say Super Bowl because they beat Dallas, but they got this game circled. That's happening a lot this year, I think. More than I think the Bengals expected.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. Like, they were talking about that. Dan Horde and Dave Lapham were talking about how Arizona, Dallas outscored their opponents like 160-13 this season. But they literally lose what was the score of that game they lost?
I don't remember.
Arizona?
They got their ass kicked. I don't remember what the final score was, but it wasn't close.
It was like a 2-touchdown game, I reckon.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I'm actually I have a computer in front of me, so I'm going to look this up. Because, I was stunned. Yeah, it was 28-16, so I was close. It was a 12-point game, so almost a 2-touchdown victory. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, man. In the NFL, every week is a new season, and so I don't care if they're 1-2, 0-4. Look at the Bears last night, 0-4 team. Everyone expected them to get crapped on by the Commanders, who almost beat the first-place Eagles last week. And Sam Howell looks like he's never played a game of football in his life. It's the NFL, man. I mean, don't sleep on Arizona. They could probably play their best game of the season if they wanted to, but and I'll give you this benefit of the doubt. Maybe the Bengals do as well.
Right. That's what I'm hoping. I'll put it
I'll actually give you that benefit of the doubt, but yeah.
Thanks, Muhammad. I appreciate it. All right. So I agree with Brad here. This is what he says. Tennessee adjusted their game plan. The Bengals did not. Yep. And that's exactly true. I mean, they came out and threw the ball. I mean, dude, I've never seen a Tennessee team throw the ball as much as they did since they were the Houston freaking Oilers and Warren Moon was their quarterback. Tennessee never throws the ball that much, and they threw it and threw it and threw it deep, and we were not ready for it, and we did not adjust. And that comes down to coaching there. They got to make adjustments and that's what's surprising about Lou. He's not making the second half adjustments that we were used to them doing, and I don't have an answer for it. I just know he's not, or it's not happening, or it's not clicking, or the players aren't executing. Because on the jump pass that Henry had for the touchdown, that the play they called timeout. Either Pratt was in the wrong spot, or Cam Sample didn't cover Wiley. That's saying, and he called timeout.
Cincinnati kid.
Yeah, I know. I wanted the Bengals to draft him too. So that's the thing. All right, is it Lou or is it the player screwing up? That's where we won't really know.
I think, like I say with most things, the truth is always somewhere in the middle. I don't think Lou was prepared for Henry to throw that pass because, you call a timeout before that.
I think he was. I think they called the play, but I don't think Sample went with them. I've kind of watched that play a couple times. He ran right past Sample. And I think Sample was supposed to drop back and cover him. Is what it looked like to me. By no means am I an expert, but that's just what it looked like to me. Either him or Pratt was supposed to.
Either way, whether it was Cam Sample or Jermaine Pratt, which I think it was probably Pratt based on the look they had. But even then, you had a timeout before that. It's not like Derrick Henry's never done that in his life. People are literally making memes about his passing stats.
Right.
You didn't even suspect that.
Jermaine
Pratt didn't even catch him until it was too late.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They called timeout. Lou had to have said, "Hey, he's going to throw a pass." That's right.
Yeah,
I cannot believe.
Really might.
Yeah, I cannot believe that he didn't have a defense called for that. That's where I'm it's got that. To me, that had to be on the play. I'm not trying to blame any or pick blame, but that's got to be on the players. And that is happening, I think, more than it happened in the past. The players are in the wrong freaking spots, and they're not making tackles. There's just the emphasis of winning or whatever it is not there for this team for some reason, and I don't know why.
I think that comment that I think his name was Brad that said it. I just think it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about other teams seeing how the Bengals have played at this point and just cracking the code. I think Mike Vrabel, love or hate the guy. I know he's kind of a interesting figure with his career and where he's at in Tennessee, but I think he knew what he was doing. He had the game plan. He knew how they'd been playing up to this point, the Bengals. And I don't think it's just Taylor and Burrow. I think he, because Vrabel's a defensive guy. He played for Bill Belichick. He was an all-pro linebacker. He probably knew, okay, from a defensive point of view, here's how we're going to get to Burrow. And I think the flip side is true. Defensively, they've done this with Jermaine Pratt, so we're going to pick on him. Their safety, Nick Scott's going to try to blow you up. So, get a full head of steam on him so he basically misses you. I'm not in those meetings with him. Obviously, we don't know what Vrabel's telling his players, but, that was a well-coached game.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
I
for
wonder
them.
though. Sorry, what were you saying?
I said, yeah, for Tennessee it was.
Well, see, what I wonder too, and I know people like to make fun of him, but like Jonathan Gannon, head coach of the Cardinals, former DC of the Eagles, who you could argue threw their Super Bowl down the drain, not completely, but partially. I mean, he's a defensive guy. Like, that's the job that Lou Anarumo almost got. Like, what's the irony? Lou's playing against the team that almost gave him a coaching job. Like,
And that's where
Gannon's
I'm
a
like, I
defensive
think,
guy.
and that's where I think Lou's had this game circled. That's where I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
So I even told him down at practice this week. I said, I know you're fired up for this game. He's like, oh yeah. so I
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
dialed up
I
for him.
think, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a big game for him. I mean, I don't think it's personal, obviously, but with how bad they've been up to this point, it kind of has to be, right?
Right, exactly. Well, hopefully they'll win this game. My score prediction is 20-17 Bengals. That's what I got. I think it's gonna be an ugly game. Hopefully Joe Burrow shows up and plays like he normally does, and we, score 4 touchdowns. That'd be awesome. But I'm not counting on it. Anyway, Muhammad, you've been on for 56 minutes. I appreciate it. Tell everybody about TSN and what you got going on and where they can follow you at.
Yeah, like I said, I'm with my man V Malik Wright. You can follow his show that he does, the Sit Down with Malik Wright, on YouTube. You can subscribe to him on his YouTube page that has that show live every week. I think almost every day, if not every other day. You can read my work and his work and work of other amazing writers at TWSN. Going to twsn.net. You can follow me on Twitter. I don't have my handle on here. I should have added it, but my handle is my first name and my last name and then TV at the end. So you'll find me if you search that. Tweeting my stories out. I'm always giving good hot takes on the I still call it the Twitter sphere. I don't care what Elon Musk
I still call it
that
too. I don't get the X. I'm like, what am I Xing something
Twitter
out?
sphere.
Yes, Twitter.
So all of these bold, preposterous takes I'm putting on here, I put them on Twitter too. So if you want to follow along, go on that app and check it out. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm doing this part-time. I'm probably stepping away from journalism and probably going into another field, which I'm still working on that. It's been a couple months, but we're making some progress. So just doing that in the meantime to get by. And it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'm glad you reached out and asked to come on the show. I'm like, yeah, I'll get you back on it. Head on a while. So I appreciate you coming on. Make sure you guys go check out what Muhammad and Malik are doing over there at the Right Network and sit down and all that stuff. I appreciate it, Muhammad. Too many M's. Sorry. I appreciate it, man. You have a great time. And like I said, I'll have to get you back on again. So keep me updated on what you're doing, all right?
Yeah, we'll definitely chat soon, man. You take care and enjoy the weekend.
All right, brother. You too. Take it easy. All right, guys, go follow those guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Like I said, we have difference of opinions. That's fine. Like I said, I'm not always right. Hell, I don't know. Maybe Joe will go there and suck Sunday. I have no idea. But you guys, if you're watching my show, I'm always optimistic. It's depressing any other way to look at it for me. So we'll see what happens. I had a whole bunch of other stuff written down, and we didn't get to any of it because I said it again. Muhammad came in and brought the fire. Wrote some good stuff up. I had to kind of clap back at him a little bit. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed that, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, let's get the Facebook groups that let me live stream. I appreciate every single one of them. They are Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Radical Reds, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, and Threads. Twitter X is at Jeff A. Trenopole. TikTok is at Iceman90. Like I said, make sure you guys check the channel out. I've been trying to do more videos and more shorts and clipping out some of the highlights from the show. So if you wouldn't mind going there and checking those out. If you guys got any ideas or anything for stuff you'd like me to talk about or cover, shoot me a message on either Twitter or Facebook, or you can probably comment on the show in the comment box there and let me know, and I'll try to take care of it for you. All right. So, like I said, I think the Bengals will win 20-17. I am confident that Joe Burrow is moving more. I like what I've seen. I think Paul asked in the comments what he looked like at practice. I actually haven't. I was just down there to say hi to the guys. I didn't make it to the bridge this week, but from the videos and everything, that all the beat writers that I've talked to and read say he's looking better. He's moving more. Like I said, the quick twitch movement. I have a video where I'll show you this. And this is kind of where he's taking a 7-step drop and he's pitter-patting his feet. Just check this. I kind of set this or put this on the show earlier this week, but watch his feet. So that right there, where he's taking 7-step drops, moving his feet back and forth. Yes, it's not gain speed, and I know Muhammad said that. I'm like, you can't, we can't simulate gain speed, so we're not going to know how he's actually going to react until it's actual gain speed. But just seeing that right there, that I think bodes well. And what I've said is that I think it's more a mental thing because he did hurt it in Baltimore or against Baltimore. Because, like I said, go back and watch that. He was moving outside the pocket. He was running, especially that second half. And I think he got a little overconfident, and he hurt it. So that's where I think the problem is now is he is super conscious about it, of not hurting it. He's got to try to get over that mental hurdle a little bit. So hopefully that happens Sunday. Anyway, I'll be pulling a sound off later on tonight. Podcast. It's on Beanpod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a 5-star review and a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, I said, you guys are awesome. 2,384. I appreciate all the support. You know, you guys are awesome. Whether you like what I say, you don't like what I say, whatever. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't, I enjoy doing this. This is so much fun. And Brad, I would love to get Dan Hort on next week. I will do my best, but getting him and Lapham on during the season is really hard because they are always doing stuff. So, but I will reach out to Dan, see if I can get him on or not. I've been trying to reach out to get Lap on for a couple months now, and he hasn't been able to work it out. So, but I will do my best to try to get him on. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Bearcats are not going to win this week. They're not going to lose either because they're not playing. So, and if you guys listen to the talk back I left on Tony Pike Show, yeah, I messed up. I said the Bearcats going to win. Ow. I messed up. And bees. That's what I said, Muhammad and Malik. Whatever. Stuff happens. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you Monday. Hopefully, we're going to have a Bengals Victory Monday show with the great Corey Dillon. Like I said, Bengals are winning 20-17. You heard it here first. Maybe second, third, whatever. We're going to win. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these streets. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Blue day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounds, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes be tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move close and on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange on bottle. Bingo bottle. Never stop it. To the beast and know who they rockin' with the diamond stripes. Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the jungle.